Praise the Lord. He is good. It is me, Ari Dossett, or for those who already know me, Rashid. In this video, brief one, I want to shut down this fairy tale a lot of survivors of narcissistic abuse have. And that's a fairy tale that the bystanders were tricked by the narcissist to turn against them. Listen to me. If you were involved with a reprobate, and the reprobate caused you harm, and the reprobate even began a smear campaign against you, first of all, you were dealing with a reprobate. That's one. That means others knew this individual was not in his or her right mind before you got involved with them. So why didn't anyone warn you or hint to you that this individual is not right? Now, if the individual is not right, there are warning signals that you can notice yourself. If you didn't notice any warning signals, which is impossible, then it's different. I said it's impossible because if someone is reprobate, there will always be warning signals. If you ignored some red flags, then you kept yourself in danger. Does that mean now that you deserve what the reprobate did to you? No. The reprobate should not have done what they have done. But on the other hand, the community should have sat back and see it unfold. So, let's say the reprobate begins a smear campaign against you. Okay, if he begins smear campaign and keeps complaining about you, people should ask us, okay, how the situation came to be? What's going on here? How can this be resolved? And what is our responsibility as a community toward the situation? If the public ask themselves those questions and take their public responsibility, they will figure out very quickly that, okay, that other individual that this individual is complaining about, they're wrong in various aspects too, but this individual is twisted. They would notice very quickly that someone is a reprobate. Because reprobates have a short fuse when it comes to tolerating pain. With pain, I mean feelings of rejection. The reprobate relies on the sympathy and recognition from others. So that's why the reprobate conducts a smear campaign, because they need this fuel. Without this fuel, they fall apart. So the only thing the public has to do is take their public responsibility, realizing, okay, this situation got out of hand. That means some of us allow things to happen, we do not intervene, but you know what, let's take responsibility and do something about it now. If the public has that attitude, it's almost impossible for any reprobate to conduct a successful smear campaign. So now you may ask yourself, why doesn't that happen? Because most of the people out there, they just want to be left alone, they just want to be at ease. So that attitude of self-rejection implies that they are sabotaging themselves in the long run. That means those people are against themselves. So they already biased towards the narcissist or towards reprobation. Why? Because if you're not participating in your own long-term well-being, that means you're sabotaging yourself, it means you're against yourself. Now the reprobate is completely against themselves, and they want to drag others in it. So if you have a similar view on life as a reprobate, then you're already biased towards the reprobate. That's why when reprobates conduct smear campaigns, the public tends to believe it quicker. Even when they can see that the story of the reprobate does not add up, they tend to get along with it. Why? Because they have something in common with the reprobate. Now, can it happen that good people get tricked by a reprobate? Yes, it can happen, but that's rare. Because good people, at some point, you realize, hold on a minute, it doesn't add up over here. But commoners in general don't want to go there because that means they have to face themselves too. And that's a painful thing you don't want to think about. So, if you were the victim of a smear campaign, of an actual smear campaign in which someone spread lies about you to bring you down, and the public got along with you, and look, listen to me. If you've been abused and victimized, you have to appear a little bit nuts or a little bit chaotic. If you've been shot down with a gun, okay, and you appear walking freely without any issues, we're going to say, were you really gunned down by a gun? Did a bullet really hit you? If a bullet hit you, we would see some signs of damage. So if you were victimized or abused by a reprobate, and you reacted a little bit chaotic, that's proof that something bad was going on. So if the public uses your chaotic reaction against you, It is because they're siding with the evildoer. Some people who survived narcissistic abuse often feel sorry for the public. And I'm telling you, stop doing that. The public knows very well something's off, and it's their responsibility as a public, as a community, to do their due diligence to figure out what goes on in their community. If they refuse to do that, that means they're already siding with evil. It means they're already enabling whatever wrong is going on. But then, when later the reprobate self-destructs against them, suddenly they are the victim. They forget all about you. There was the primary victim of the spring campaign, and they who collaborated with the negativity, and suddenly they're the victim when the reprobate self-destructs against them. Or maybe the reprobate just self-destructs because the lies don't stand anymore. Now suddenly the public will admit that, oh, this individual is a creep, this individual is this and that. But they will not mention how they got along with that creep against you just to preserve their ease. I want you to remember the following, and this also relates to other topics besides the topic I'm talking about. Human beings don't believe stories because they're true. Let me repeat that. Human beings do not believe stories because they're true. Human beings believe stories that are in harmony with how they view themselves. Or in other words, human beings believe stories that make them feel better, or that make them feel relevant. If a story makes them feel relevant, whether it's in a positive or negative daylight, they will get along with that story. If a story does not relate directly to them, they have the tendency to kind of push the story away like it's not relevant. For example, if a reprobate claims that you are chaotic because you often cuss them out, and maybe you do use cuss words, but hey, here's the thing, cuss words are not anything evil. Those are just a social construction people hold on to. But let's say now you call out the narcissist in public, and the narcissist plays the victim. Now the public has to face the fact there's something going on to deal with. But what's going to happen? They don't want to deal with it. So when the narcissist plays the victim, pretends like you're the aggressor, to the public, you are the aggressor because you force the public to take their public responsibility to deal with whatever goes on in their community. So because you don't want to do this, they're going to perceive you as a bad guy. Even though you're not the bad guy, and just calling things out, they will perceive you as a bad guy. And now, because the narcissist story portrays you as a bad guy, that's what they think about you because you forced them to face their own community. So because of that, they will side with the narcissist. They may not side with narcissists because they actually deep down inside believe the narcissist, but they believe the story of the narcissist because it validates their escapism. You force them to face their own community, something they don't want to do, just want to escape. Now, that makes them look bad that you even had to call them out to do it. So now anyone who validates their resentment towards you, they get along with it. Now, this not only in a negative sense, but just understand human beings believe stories that validate themselves, whether in a positive daylight or in a negative daylight. They believe stories make them feel good about their identity. So, they don't believe things because they're true. So don't expect them to do that either. So, keep on agreeing with Christ and do not feed into this area. Be at peace.